Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another Destiny 2 video, and today we're talking about my 5 most recommended builds for Onslaught. And man, these builds are really strong. This is mostly for Legend Onslaught, as well, most of these will translate well to normal Onslaught, but I feel like in normal you can use basically whatever you want to an extent. And you really don't have to min-max the way that you might have to in Legend, again depending on your skill level and how much you have played Legend Onslaught up into this point. Keep in mind these builds have 3 things in mind. Number 1 on your priority for Onslaught is add clear and add control. You want to make sure adds are not getting anywhere near that ADU and that you have complete and utter control over how and what they're doing essentially. That's what decoys are for, and this is why the builds in this are mainly going to focus on ad clear, but you will see some of them also focus on burst damage, which is also nice when you have the big beefy sky bomber and you have to leave one person to defend the ADU, or however you do it. Maybe all 3 of you go, melt that sky bomber, and then go back to the ADU and clear it together. Whatever you do, you're gonna need to take it down quick. So having one person in your team with a super that does burst damage, whether it be a Thunder Crash, a Golden Gun, any of those, is gonna be really nice. And the last, but certainly not the least important thing in Onslaught is survivability. You're gonna have a bunch of ads, you're gonna have tormentors occasionally, you're gonna have the big beefy sky bombers who are very beefy, I might add, and you're gonna have to be able to live. So that means you're also gonna need a build that keeps you and your teammates alive. And, maybe does a couple of the other things as well, like clear ads and so on, but this is a good team comp, having an ad clear super like Tether, burst damage, like Banner of War on Titan, and then survivability with like a well. It's actually fantastic if you wanted to run one of each class because it works out. But yeah, these are builds that you can use. We're going to do each class here, so no matter what you're on, what you like to use, there's a build here for you. So the first build is one that you have probably seen a lot over the years. It is, of course, Orpheus Rigs on Void Hunter because, well, of course you're not going to use it at anything but Void Hunter. I like to use Deadfall simply because it's just better for ad clear overall. It lasts longer, you have that increased range. As for fragments, here you have Echo of Starvation. Because we just love Devour, you have Echo of Reprisal, which will give you super energy when you're surrounded, and trust me, you are going to get a lot of super energy because you're always surrounded, and you're pretty much always getting final blows as well, especially with your super. Finishers will grant you invisibility because, again, survivability. If you need to get a finisher, it's an oh shit moment, my teammates are down, or maybe you're about to die, going invisible can save you here and there. Plus, that 10 recovery is a little bit nice, although you're going to have Devour anyway, so who really cares? And not to mention having that volatile rounds. I like to have this on for anti-barrier because I won't always run it with this build, although I am for this one. So this is one that you could swap out for maybe Echo of Expulsion or maybe something else. I have seen people switch to suppressor grenades as well as, not using vortex grenades. This stuff is up to you because, it's preference here and there. I like to have Vanishing Step on. It's always nice to have that on-demand dodge, as well as being able to get your smoke bomb back, and of course Stylist Executioner, which is really nice just in general because, again, being invis can save you in more ways than one. As for your weapons, you can run, again, basically whatever you want. Again, I like to run Void weapons here. Buried Bloodline is very strong right now, especially since you're always going to have one anti-barrier champion no matter what enemy type you have, be it Fallen or Hive. I like to have Hand Cannon. I've used Warden's Law in this build, Midnight Coup, as well as Rose. You can use pretty much, again, whatever you want. LMGs I think are really nice, although usually I do end up using the Stasis LMG which is, I'm going to pull right now. So usually I sub in Recurrent Impact. This thing I think is slept on. I just love having Field Prep because you have so much ammo. And in Onslaught, I feel like it's more quantity over quality because you have so many ads to deal with. And I feel like I just have so much heavy to use. Headstone is nice. You could switch this out for a different perk if you wanted to. But, you know, really the big part here is the origin trait. Final blows with this weapon grant increased resilience and additional damage resistance from combatants. So this will make you more tanky. And it's really nice to have no matter what. So, I mean, you can use something like Corrective Measure, Commemoration. Usually, I do end up switching to a rocket for damage phases, but this, you know, LMGs in general are just nice for Onslaught because they have a lot of ammo. They're good for Tormentors, and they're good for ad clear. But this is the first build I recommend. This is most likely the best build out there for Hunters. It's maybe not the best overall, but it's really, really nice. And I highly recommend Orpheus rigs in general. They're just so good. Okay, so this next build is one that I have fallen in love with quickly. Now, if you don't know what necrotic grips are, or necrotic grip, that's what it's called. So, damaging combatants poisons them, dealing increased DOT. Defeating a poisoned combatant spreads the condition, provides a moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons of sorrow. Not that that matters, because we just care about the poison damage. So when you defeat targets, you're going to get that. You're going to use Thorn, because Thorn also has poison damage. You also have Soul Devourer and Refined Soul. This thing with the Catalyst is so nice, and it's actually kind of weird to be using Thorn in PvE, but I'm not complaining because I love this hand cannon. It's so fun. So another thing that's going to add a layer of fun to this build is you're going to have this aspect here on Mind Spun Invocation. So you're going to hold LB to consume your Shackle Grenade and activate Weaver's Trance. After that, your final blows while you're in Weaver's Trance activate a suspending detonation. So not only are you going to be suspending targets, they're going to be taking poison damage from Necrotic Grip, they're going to be taking poison damage from Thorn, and they're just going to be falling over. Now, you're obviously going to want Shackle Grenade on so you can get that Suspend to go anyways. For Fragments, they're not too important. I like to have this on because I still have Threadlings for my Rift, but if you wanted to make the Suspend a little bit better, you could throw on, I can't find the aspect here, you could throw Thread of Wisdom on as well, just to get Orbs of Power. The only important one is Thread of Generation, because when you're dealing damage, you're going to get that grenade energy back, so that you can always have your grenade up. There's going to be more mods that I'll show you in a moment that focus on just getting your grenade back. Thread of Warding is nice because Woven Mail is just really, really nice. If you can have 100 Resilience and have Thread of Warding on, I highly recommend you do that. But this third aspect here is kind of up to you. Thread of Wisdom is really nice, and the one I had on previously is nice as well. You could also do Thread of Mind, which will give you class ability to get your Rift back. Again, it's really up to you what that third aspect you want to be, depending on what you're using, of course. And our mods over here, for this slot here, I like to have Kinetic Siphon on for Thorn, just so I'm making a ton of orbs for my teammates, because my super isn't that important. My main job with this build is add clear and add control. A little bit of burst damage with your super, but you want to be making so many orbs so that maybe you have a warlock with well that's getting it back, or a hunter with Orpheus on. No matter what, orbs are just a nice thing. Obviously you want to have heavy ammo finder on, that's what I meant to have on, and heavy ammo scout, so that your teammates will get the ammo as well. This is just nice because the more heavy ammo you have, the easier Onslaught is. That's just true. For this, you can kind of do, again, whatever you want. I like to, again, make more orbs with this build, so I have heavy-handed on, and I have both of these on to try and get my cooldowns back. You could do 2 bolstering detonations instead, because, again, the main focus is your grenade. So, you know, using your grenade and getting your, just chaining your abilities is really important. Resist, again, based on whatever the activity has. And for this, I like to have one innervation on, again, to try and get that grenade back faster. You could throw 2 on if you feel like it's too long, but I like having recuperation on, or better already, because staying alive is also a priority. You can throw a surge on, you could throw on absolution if you wanted instead. Again, up to you here. And on your class item, you're going to want bomber, again, to get your grenade back quicker. This mod here, time dilation, again, you can do whatever you want. You can do a distribution, utility kickstart, maybe powerful attraction, reaper. Again, that's kind of up to you. This build is so fun, and if you're a Thorn enjoyer like I am, listen, you're gonna love it. It's just so fun. Alright, so this next build is strictly survivability. A little bit of everything else as well, because it will help with ads, and it will help with burst damage, because well is just gonna give you both of those things. So your main focus here is to always try and have your well up with Phoenix Protocol, and you want to make sure your teammates are staying in that well, getting those kills and assist inside of it, because if not, you're not going to get your well back as quickly. This is why I stress orb creation if you have a warlock with you, because they might not always get the kills they need to get that well 100% back. So being able to make a few orbs here and there, even if it's by using your super, could get them over the edge to get that well back, so they can save it for, you know, maybe when the ADU is getting rushed, or whatever that may be, you know, they're the last one standing, whatever. Build is pretty straightforward. Survivability is your main concern, so you have well on. Your melee obviously is Incinerator, Snap, and you have Solar Grenade. Again, this is up to you. You could throw a Healing Grenade on instead. Touch of Flame is just awesome, you know, increased duration of your grenade. The Lava Burst, go dummy. You can have Heat Rises on instead, but Icarus, I just love the movement. I think it sounded like I said licorice, but it's Icarus. Trust me. Ember of Char, because you like to ignite and scorch stuff. Ember of Mercy is just great in general. I recommend it for literally just about everything in the game. Ember of Beams, you definitely don't need to have on for this build. I don't know why I do. Don't ask, you know, just ask me anything. You could throw literally anything else on. And Ember of Torches is a nice one to have as well. You didn't see whatever that other aspect was. That one's been through the whole time, I swear. Okay, we're moving forward. For weapons, you can run whatever you want. I just literally threw these weapons on because I love Recurrent Impact, Indebted Kindness for Barrier. You know, this is the most straightforward build you can have out there. It's just well. Just put it down. That's your job. You're well, bitch. So for this next build, we have the fantastic Strand Titan build. And yeah, you guessed it, Banner of War is what we're running. I have seen a lot of people running Fletchet Storm, but I personally prefer Into the Fray, because having that woven mail and being able to give it to your teammates on a given notice when you obviously create a tangle, it's just so nice. You can also run Shackle Grenades here if you want to have that Suspend, but I like the movement and grapple, plus you get an extra melee if you run out of charges. You can grapple melee for that damage. And yeah, aspects here, we have Thread of Finality, which some of these I realized, just like with Warlock, I have on for the stats. That's just a me thing. I like having triple hundreds. There are definitely better aspects, or rather fragments, you can put on here. But generally speaking, I put these on and there isn't a noticeable difference here or there. Obviously, some of these you do want to switch out because I'm not using Suspend in any way, shape, or form. So something like that instead. Thread of Transmutation is nice, because having tangles, you know, you can just keep chaining your woven mail. And Thread of Fury is nice. This is probably the only one that I should have on as well. And we have Thread of Binding, which will create a suspending burst from the target. Again, that's on mostly for the resilience, but you really won't notice it because, listen, Banner is so strong. So the only one I would recommend having on is, of course, Thread of Transmutation. That one is really, really strong, and of course, Thread of Fury as well. And of course, Synthoceps is the star of this build. It's just so good. When you're surrounded, you gain increased melee and super damage, as well as improved weapon handling and reload speed. Synthos are just so nice. I have seen some people using Worm God's Caress, but generally speaking, I think Synthos are just the best, because why not? Weapons are up for debate here. Obviously, Tractor is something you could have on, but Machine Guns for Ad Clear is just a little bit better and safer for when you need to be further away. I just put Sunshot here because it's unstop and it's really nice for Ad Clear. And I do have a 1-2 punch shotgun on. You don't necessarily need to have that on, because even without it, you're going to do fantastic. But it would help just a little bit, a little extra damage if you wanted to do some there. This is more of a burst damage / survivability, and it can act like this build can do it all and do it really well. It's so nice. Like, it's probably the best build I would say in here so far. So the last and final build we have here is a Precious Scars Titan. This is a support Titan. This is not a joke here, folks. I would recommend having hammers on. I didn't have this saved in the build, but you're just all support. You have a throwing hammer, you have a healing grenade, you have roaring flames and Soul Invictus, because you just want to have your faster ability regenerations. You also want to deal damage, and when you enter that sunspot, and your allies as well when they enter it. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, I don't think they get restoration either, but it's really nice for you. If you had Phoenix Cradle on, you would get that. The aspects here are important. Ember of Tempering to get that increased recovery for your allies is really, really nice. It does decrease your recovery, but it won't matter, right? Again, the whole idea here is just increase the overall survivability of your team. Ember of Torches to get that Radiant, because it's really, really nice. Ember of Mercy again to get that restoration when you revive an ally. It's really awesome. And Ember of Empyrean, your solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and Radiant effects applied to you. Weapons, again, up for grab. You just want weapons that can spread Scorch, so Sunshot is a candidate. Zawuli's Bane. I just have this Summoner on for something a little different. Scatter Signal to get a little bit of damage. Dragon's Breath, because again, you can just spread a whole bunch of Scorch. And your mods here really, again, depend on what you're running. They really don't matter as much as some of the other builds on here, because your aspects are going to do most of the work, as well as your fragments. So yeah, that's it for my 5 builds for Legend Onslaught. And listen, these builds, you know, they're mostly really good, but let me know what you guys are using, because I'm always looking for more builds to use. I know there are some out there that are good. Some of these are just better because of the seasonal mods at the moment. Solar is just banging, and there's really no reason not to use that in some areas. But, you know, then again, you see Strand, Void, and some other stuff being used as well, especially Void Hunter, because Void Hunter is fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you guys are using in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. I will try to leave some dim links for these builds in the description down below. And please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. It helps me a lot. It's free, it's easy. All you have to do is click that button, and I will love you for a very long time. But as always, know, just you guys being here watching this is all I require. I love doing it. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.